I want to talk about the difference between a conspiracy theory and bad motivations. So, there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there. I'm not going to list them all because this video will get instantly flagged on YouTube and Facebook and possibly also Twitch for all of the conspiracy theories that I am aware exist in the world and could name. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but if you Google what is a conspiracy theory or most popular conspiracy theories in America, I'm sure you will find some. So I don't have to list them for you. A conspiracy theory, at its core, is that a group of people in a secretive fashion use the power that they have or some shady back dealings to effectuate a bad thing or what's perceived as a bad thing or just something, right? That's a conspiracy theory. Essentially, a group of people that are kind of unknown or unknowable or have some kind of bad intent or just some intent work together to make something happen, and they use their super shady back dealy powers to make that happen, right? That's conspiracy theory, right? There are lots of conspiracy theories out there. You'll figure it out. But I want to distinguish that from bad motivations. So, what do I mean by that? So, if I explain capitalism to you and the differences between capitalism and socialism, which I have lots of times, right? About creating wealth for the top versus creating wealth for the bottom, who owns the means of production, who rents and who buys labor, all those sorts of stuff, right? I've talked about this. So if I say that all the capitalists are working together to perpetuate this system, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, right? It sounds like this box that I've created over here, which is a group of people using their shady powers to accomplish a thing. But actually, it's not a conspiracy theory. It is what I would call bad motivation. So, what is their motivation? So, in the law, in public corporations, as I mentioned previously, there is a requirement that you produce money for shareholders. And the shareholders have some ability to check your power and privilege because they can elect your board and the board can fire the CEO, typically, or fire the executive team. They have the ability to do that. So shareholders get some level of ownership of the company. That's what a shareholder is. It's part owner of the company. So the company, its owners, the people who actually own the company and everything it's worth, have this power over the company to make it do things. And one of the reasons that shareholders invest in something is because they want a return on that investment. So they want the amount of money that they get from the investment to constantly increase. That's where profits come in, right? So profits then go to shareholders to make the shareholders happy so they continue to invest money in the company so the company can continue to do well. Okay? So the motivation then of the capitalist class, oft who either own companies or are the executives of these companies, CEOs, CFOs, and things of major companies, is to do anything they can to allow for profits to continue, whether that is reduce worker benefits, reduce worker hours, reduce worker pay, replace workers with machines, any one of these strategies that you as a worker are well aware of because it's happened to you or someone you know. But it's not a conspiracy. It's not that all the capitalists got into a room and had a discussion about something and figured it out and then executed it. We created bad motivations in the law. We created bad motivations in the way that we set up public companies. We created bad motivations in the way that we prop up companies that are failing because of their bad practices. We, as a country, as a world, actually, have continued to engage these types of engage in creating these bad motivations where the incentive is always towards more profits, more money, more exploitation. So it's not that these people are necessarily evil, although I would argue they are in some way, shape, or form. It's that their motivation is inherently bad and no one's changing it. And honestly, because a lot of these people are getting very rich in this system, they don't really have an incentive to change it either. So all the incentives are pointing towards this very bad thing. So it's bad motivation, but it's not a conspiracy theory. On the other hand, I'm sure you can think of things that are conspiracy theories. Then there are also some conspiracies that are more or less true, right? I mean, there are I'm sure you can think of some. I'm blanking for some off the top of my head, but essentially what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to point out that having conversations about groups of people who do bad things doesn't always make it a conspiracy theory. And the fact that bad things happen and it seems like there's small groups of people who orchestrate or benefit from those bad things don't mean that that's a conspiracy theory either. Sometimes it is and sometimes it's not, but we have to think critically about whether there is a conspiracy behind something, a small group who uses their power and influence to make something happen, or whether there are bad motivations, whether the system allows for these things to happen, right? Money in politics, it's not necessarily a conspiracy, it's just bad motivation, right? The military industrial complex going to war for no reason. Is it because a corrupt cabal of people essentially decided that they want to murder people for the sake of profits? Probably not. It's much more likely that the motivation is that they give money to politicians, so the politicians give them more money, and it's just a cycle of money where lots of people get rich, so all the motivations are in the wrong place. Capitalism, in general, is a system defined not by conspiracy theories, but by bad motivations. And when we talk about the ruling elite, or I don't want to use the words global cabal as my personal descriptor, but you've heard that term before, or the globalists without its obvious anti-Semitic components. There are groups of people who do not coordinate with each other explicitly, who create bad outcomes and have bad motivations. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's bad motivation. And what I'm trying to point out here and make sure that you understand is that there are ways to talk about these things that are non-conspiratorial, that allow people who are very skeptical of conspiracy theories, as I think most people should be, to engage with you on a way that helps us to identify who the quote unquote villains are in our society without sounding like you're crazy and coming up with an explanation for these bad things that doesn't make sense or vibe with the actual reality of the situation.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, throw a like on it, share with your friends, and subscribe for more of our content. You can also find all of our videos and clips on youtube.com. Just search Let Them Eat Bread and you'll find all of our content. Alright guys, see you next time. Bye for now.